Magandang araw! Handa na ba kayong matuto para sa araw na ito? Kung gayon, halina't samahan niyo si Teacher Jumina upang talakayin ang mga pag-aaralan natin ngayong araw na ito. So, after going through this lesson, you are expected to 1. Divide decimals, mixed decimals, up to 2 decimal places by whole numbers. 2. Divide decimals, mixed decimals, whole numbers, up to 2 decimal places. And 3. Solve routine and non-routine problems involving division of decimals, mixed decimals, and whole numbers including money using appropriate problem-solving strategies and tools. Sa previous video natin ay natapos na natin ang addition, subtraction, at multiplication ng decimals. Ngayong araw na ito ay ating tatalakayin ang Quarter 1 Module 8 hanggang 10 about dividing decimals, mixed decimals, and whole numbers up to 2 decimal places. Okay, so simulan na natin with our example number 1. How many 5/10ths are there in 915? In order to solve this problem, let's have our solution. And we are going to divide 915 divided by 5/10ths. Kasi ang question dito, ilan daw 5/10ths meron sa 915? So, in order to divide, ilagay natin sila sa loob ng division symbol. Yung ating 915 ay nasa loob ng division symbol and yung ating 5/10ths ang nasa labas. Yung 5/10ths ay tinatawag na divisor. And our 915 is called the dividend. Or, yung dividend, ito yung ating hahatiin. Yung divisor, ito kung ilang hati yung ating gagawin. Okay, to solve this, we have to follow 3 steps. The first step is to make the divisor a whole number by moving the decimal point to the right. Ibig sabihin, kailangan daw natin magawa yung ating divisor na whole number by moving yung ating decimal point papunta sa right or papunta sa kanan. So, dahil ang given natin ay 5/10ths, isang decimal place lang yung ating i-move. So, we're going to move that. And then, yung decimal dito ay mapupunta na ngayon sa dulo. At ito ay magiging whole number 5. Okay, so that is for step number 1. We are going to change our decimal into whole number by moving the decimal point to the right. And then for our step number 2, do the same with the dividend and place the decimal point directly above the decimal point of the dividend. So kung ano daw yung ginawa natin kay step number 1 sa ating divisor, ganun din ang gagawin natin sa ating dividend. And then, kung nasaan yung pwesto ng ating decimal point, ay itatapat natin directly sa ibabaw ng ating dividend. So, again, dahil isang beses natin minove ang ating divisor, ganun din ang gagawin nating move sa ating dividend. But take note, this is a whole number. 915 is a whole number. At kapag whole number, ang decimal point niya ay laging nasa right side sa dulo. So, nandito po ang kanyang decimal point after number 5. So, kung i-move natin siya ng isang beses, malilipat na yung decimal point doon sa right side. Ngayon, kung mapapansin nyo, naging bakante or blank itong minove natin. At kapag nag-move tayo at there is no number, we have to put there 0. Okay, so now, pwede na nating ilagay yung ating decimal point directly above the decimal point of the dividend. So, yan po, katapat ng ating decimal point sa ating dividend. And then, for our step number 3, divide just like dividing whole numbers. So, para lang tayo nagdi-divide ng whole numbers. So, i-divide natin yung ating unang digit, which is 9. 9 divided by 5. So, ilan daw 5 meron kay 9? And that is only 1. So we are going to put 1 above the number 9. And then 1 times 5, that is equal to 5. And then we are going to subtract. 9 minus 5 is equal to 4. And then we can bring down 1, yung susunod na number, which is 1. And then it will become 41. Ito naman ngayon yung ating i-divide. So 41 divided by 5, that is equal to 8. And 8 times 5 is equal to 40. So, subtract ulit natin sila. 41 minus 40, that is equal to 1. And then, bring down again the next number, which is 5. So, this will become 15. 15 divided by 5, that is equal to 3. And then, 3 times 5, that is equal to 15. Subtract them, will give us 0. Even if it is 0, we still have 0 dito sa ating given. Hindi pa po dyan matatapos kasi may natitira pa tayo. So, pwede pa natin siyang i-bring down. So, we are going to divide 0 divided by 5. That is equal to 0. And 0 times 5 is 0. If you subtract this, you will get 0. Okay, always remember, the end of the division must have a remainder of 0. Kapag meron kapag natitira na number 1 and above as remainder, you have to add 0 doon sa ating given. Hanggang maging 0 na yung ating remainder. Okay, so our answer here is 1,830. Hindi natin i-include yung ating decimal point since our answer is a whole number. Okay, now let's have example number 2. 7 tenths divided by 5. So, mapapansin nyo, we have the given decimal number and whole number. Our dividend is a decimal and our divisor is a whole number. So, again, in order to solve this, we are going to write our given dividend inside the division symbol or radical sign, and our divisor outside the radical sign. So for our step number 1, make the divisor a whole number by moving the decimal point to the right. But look at our given. Since yung ating divisor is already a whole number, hindi na natin kailangan na mag-move ng decimal point kasi naka-whole number na siya. So pwede na tayo mag-proceed with step number 2. And we're going to do the same with the dividend. Pero wala naman tayong ginawa kay divisor. So, no need to do the same with dividend. Wala tayong kailangang gawin kay dividend. Ang kailangan na lang natin gawin for step number 2 is to place the decimal point directly above the decimal point of the dividend. So, itatapat lang natin yung isang decimal point. And then, we can now proceed with step number 3. Divide just like dividing whole numbers. So, let us divide. So, we have here 0 divided by 5. So, hindi natin yan pwedeng i-divide. Kaya, isasama natin si 7. So, 7 divided by 5. O ilan bang 5 meron kay 7? That is only 1. Isa lang yung pwede. And then, 1 times 5. That is equal to 5. And then, we're going to subtract. 7 minus 5. That equals to 2. Ang sabi ko nga po kanina, kailangan ang remainder natin dito is 0. Wala na tayong pwedeng i-bring down. At kapag meron pa tayong remainder at wala na tayong pwedeng i-bring down, pwede tayong magdagdag ng 0. So, yung 0 na yan, i-bring down natin siya. So, this will be 20. Then, we are going to divide 20 divided by 5 is equal to 4. And then 4 times 5 is equal to 20. And then subtract 20 minus 20, the answer is 0. Now, our remainder is already 0 at wala na tayong i-bring down. So, we are now having our final answer. So, as you can see, we have here 0.14. But remember, if a decimal has no number before the decimal point, there is always be 0. And our answer is 14 hundredths. Okay, now let's have example number 3. 84 hundredths divided by 21 hundredths equals n. So again, lagay natin ulit sila sa radical sign or division symbol. 84, lalagay natin sa loob ng radical sign. And then our 21 or 21 hundredths is our divisor. So step 1 again, make the divisor a whole number by moving the decimal point to the right. So our divisor is a decimal. So pwede natin siyang gawing whole number. So move lang natin yung decimal point niya ng 2 beses papunta sa kanan to make it a whole number. So kapag minove natin siya ng 2 beses, ang magiging whole number na nito is 21. And then, for step number 2, gagawin din natin kung ano yung ginawa natin sa ating divisor. So, dalawa yung move na ginawa natin sa ating divisor. Therefore, dalawa din yung gagawin nating move dito sa ating dividend. So, ito yung ating decimal. Mag-move tayo ng 2. So, mapupunta na rin sa dulo yung ating decimal point. Therefore, ang bago nating dividend will be 84. And then we are going to place yung ating decimal point directly above our dividend. So, dito natin siya ilalagay. And then, we can now proceed to step number 3. Divide just like dividing whole numbers. So, let's divide this. Yung 8, we cannot divide 8 by 21. Kasi mas maliit si 8. Kailangan ay mas malaki dapat doon sa ating divisor. So, kung hindi pwede, isasama na natin yung next digit which is 4. So, magiging 84 siya divided by 21. Pwede na natin sila i-divide since mas malaki na yung dividend. And 84 divided by 21 is equal to 4. And then 4 times 21, that is equal to 84. And then subtract, you will get 0. So, wala na tayong pwedeng i-bring down. And our remainder is 0. Therefore, ito na yung ating final answer. So, for example, number 3, the correct answer is 4. So, hindi na natin ilalagay yung ating decimal point kasi there is no number after the decimal point. And our answer is already a whole number. Okay, example number 4. 17 and 84 hundredths divided by 2 and 23 hundredths is equal to blank, unknown. Again, write it in a radical sign. So, 17 and 84 hundredths inside the radical sign and 2 and 23 hundredths outside the radical sign. Again, proceed to step 1, that is to make our divisor a whole number by moving its decimal point. So, i-move natin siya na 2 beses para malipat natin dun sa dulo yung ating decimal point at maging whole number siya. So, ngayon, this 2 and 23 hundredths, nang minove natin ng 2 beses papunta sa kanan, ay magiging 223 na as a whole number. And then, for our step number 2, do the same with the dividend. So, gagawin din natin. 2 beses tayo nag-move kay divisor. 2 beses din tayo mag-move kay dividend. So, from here, mag-move ng 2 beses, lalaktawan si 8 at si 4. So, mapupunta na sa dulo ang iyong decimal point at magiging 1,784 na siya as the whole number. So, nasa dulo pa rin yung kanyang decimal point. And then, again, copy the decimal point directly above doon sa ating given. So, now, for step number 3, divide just like dividing whole numbers. So, again, isa-isahin nyo muna yung digit. 1 divided by 223, hindi pwede kasi mas maliit. Isama niyo si 7. 17, pwede na ba i-divide by 223? Hindi pa rin, maliit. Sama niyo naman si 8. So, magiging 178 divided by 223. Pwede na ba? Hindi pa rin po kasi mas maliit pa rin yung dividend. So, you have to add again another digit. And that is 4. So, magiging 1,784 divided by 223. And you will get an answer of 8. And 8 times 223 is equal to 1,784. And then if you subtract that, you will get an answer of 0. So, 0 na yung remainder mo. Wala ka na rin pwedeng i-bring down. So, that is the end of your computation. So, for example, number 4, 17 and 84 hundredths divided by 2 and 23 hundredths. The answer is whole number, which is 8. And now for our last example, which is example number 5. Read and understand the problem. Use Agonza to solve the problem. So last time we already used the process on how to solve, which is acronym Agonza. So let's read first our problem. Christine bought 66 and 25 kilograms of mangoes. She packed this into packs containing 13 and 25 kilograms each. How many packs did she make? So, here in our problem, yung si Christine daw ay bumili ng 66 and 25 kilograms ng mangga. Binalot niya ito into packs na naglalaman ng 13 and 25 kilograms bawat isa. And ang gusto niyang malaman ay kung ilang packs ba yung kanyang nagawa. So, let us solve this using our acronym Agonza. Okay, so Agonza stands for A, which is ask or the question asked, G for the given facts, O for the operation, N for number sentence, S for solution, and lastly A is for the answer. So, what is asked in the problem nga ba? Yan, the number of mango packs she made, or how many packs did she make? How about our given? Our given is 66 and 25 kilograms of mangoes and 13 and 25 kilograms per pack. And the operation to be used will be division, since we are going to divide or we are going to look for the total number of packs that Christine can make or made. And for our number sentence, we have 66 and 25 hundredths divided by 13 and 25 hundredths divided by or equals n. Okay, so now let's solve for this. And for our solution, again, ilalagay muna natin siya in radical sign. So, yung 66 and 25 hundredths ang nasa loob ng radical sign. And our 13 and 25 hundredths ang nasa labas ng radical sign. So, again, for step 1, kailangan nating ilipat or palitan yung ating divisor into a whole number by moving its decimal point. So, since ang ating given ay 13 and 25 hundredths, so dalawang move yung ating gagawin. So, from 13 and 25 hundredths, pag na-move na ng dalawang beses, ito ay magiging 1,325 na. And then, for step number 2, kung ano yung ginawa natin dito sa divisor, ganun din ang gagawin natin sa ating dividend. So, dalawang move tayo sa divisor, ganun din ang gagawin natin dito sa ating dividend. So, from this, so dalawa, mapupunta na ngayon yung decimal point dito sa dulo ng 5. So, ang bago nating dividend ay magiging 6,625. Then, after that, pwede na tayong mag-divide. So, again, isa-isahin muna natin. Yung 6, pwede ba natin i-divide by 1,325? Hindi pwede kasi mas maliit. Pag dinagdagan natin ng isa pang 6, pag ginamit yung 66, pwede na ba i-divide? Hindi pa rin po. So, isasama natin si 2. Magiging 662 na. Pwede na ba natin siya i-divide by 1,325? Hindi pa rin kasi mas maliit pa. So, isasama natin ngayon si 5. So, yung 6,625, i-divide natin sa 1,325. And pwede na siyang i-divide kasi mas malaki na yung ating number. And 6,625 divided by 1,325 is equal to 5. So, yung 5 times 1,325, that is equal to 6,625. And then, if you subtract that, you will get an answer of 0. 0 na yung remainder at wala ka nang pwedeng i-bring down. Therefore, nakuha na natin yung ating answer. But, remember, this is a word problem and meron tayong hinahanap doon sa problem. So, yung kanina, yung question is the total packs na mabubuo o makukuha ni Christine. And, from our answer which is 5, ilalagay na natin siya as a complete answer which is 5 packs of mangoes. Okay, so that is the end of our examples regarding dividing decimals. So let us summarize again our lesson for today on how to divide decimals. How can we divide decimals? What is the first step to do? Correct. That is to make the divisor a whole number by moving the decimal point to the right. How about step number 2? Yes, to do the same with the dividend and place a decimal point directly above the decimal point of the dividend. And for our last step, or step number 3, that is to divide, just like dividing whole numbers. So remember this in order to divide decimals. And that's the end of our lesson for today. Sana ay natuto kayo sa ating video lesson at magkikita-kita pa tayo muli sa susunod pang mga lesson. Huwag kalimutang i-like ang ating video, mag-subscribe sa ating page o sa ating YouTube account, at huwag kalimutang pindutin ang notification bell para updated ka sa ating videos. Maraming salamat muli at God bless us all.